Hello, dear ones, Father Peter John, coming to you from All Saints Orthodox Church in Bloomington, Indiana. Christ is in our midst. This week we celebrate a great saint in the early church, St. Gregory of Nyssa. He was a bishop and a theologian, quite an amazing man, quite a great thinker. But there's a story early in his life before he was a Christian that I wanted to share with you tonight. And you may have heard it, you may not have heard it, but I found it to be very moving. It's always stuck with me. The story involves these 40 holy martyrs of Sebaste. If you know their story, there were 40 soldiers who were Christians, and in their time, it was illegal to be Christian. And so they were given the opportunity to deny Christ or to die a horrible death out on a frozen lake. They refused to deny Christ. They were let out on the lake. 39 of the 40 stayed on the lake. 40 crowns came down from heaven and rested up in the sky, in the air above their heads. But there were only 39 left, remember, because one apostatized. And so one of the guards who was on the shore, guarding them, tending the big bonfire that was supposed to draw them from the ice, saw this crown, and there was no martyr to match the crown. And so he stripped his clothes and ran out onto the ice and received his martyr's crown. It's a powerful story. And St. Gregory of Nyssa, his mother was on retreat, and where she was, there was this chapel dedicated to the 40 holy martyrs. And so she invited him to come, and he was away at studies, and he I think reluctantly agreed to come. So he made the journey to get there. And when he got there, he was already tired from his studies. Now he was tired from a journey, and the all-night vigil for the 40 holy martyrs was going on. And so St. Gregory went outside into the garden at the church, and he fell asleep. And in his sleep, he was awakened from sleep by the 40 holy martyrs of Sebaste. They came to him in a dream. And some of the accounts even say that they were whacking him with rods and things like this. But anyway, they were saying to him, we suffered for Christ. We gave our life for him, and you can't even stay awake for a service. And so he woke up and he went back into the church. He decided it was time to be baptized. And actually, he became a reader in the church at that point. He was drawn after a time of being a reader. I mean, he did a beautiful job reading the scriptures in church and the Psalms and things. And he had a good voice. He was a good communicator. But after a time, he was drawn away from this because he was going to pursue a job, a life in the world as an orator. And so indeed, he went and he began this career, and he started to make a name for himself, no longer spending time reading in the church. His brother, St. Basil the Great, among other things, the author of the St. Basil's Liturgy, the one who founded a very action-oriented monasticism that St. Benedict later based his Benedictine rule off of, and the founder of the first hospital, St. Basil the Great. That's St. Basil the Great. That's St. Gregory of Nyssa's brother. He exhorted his brother to come back to the church and to come back to his position as a reader in the church, that people needed him. And then St. Gregory of Nyssa's best friend, St. Gregory the theologian, it's good to have all these saints as friends because they don't let him off the hook. He exhorted him and he admonished him. You've left your calling as a reader in the church to go and do this work in the world. And so he admonished him to come back. Well, St. Gregory did come back. He ended up becoming the bishop of Nyssa and was a great theologian. He fought heresies in the church. And we're thankful that he decided to come back because his gifts have given us much, very, very rich material in the church. Who knows where we would be without him? We're thankful for him. So St. Gregory of Nyssa and the 40 holy martyrs of Sebaste, pray unto God for us. Christ is in our midst. He is and ever shall be.